What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a video from this tiny YouTuber with 211 subscribers. YouTube recommended this video right here, and the only reason I want to react to it is because I see a dreaming Spanish that looks like their calendar right there. So I'm like,
Tá, o único jeito de eu... Não é o único jeito que ele falou. O único motivo de eu assistir esse vídeo, de ter sido atraído por esse vídeo, é por causa que ele está usando o calendário do Dream Spanish.
you can get fluent fast, and yet I'm seeing a dreaming Spanish calendar. That has caught my attention. Let's go. Oh, by the way, sub to the
Prendeu minha atenção. Let's go.
Damn channel. Yes, I went all aggressive right then. I've noticed, I did a video once before, okay guys. I always ask for subs at the end of the channel, and I get a nice amount of subs after each video. And then one video, I randomly mentioned it within like the first 10 minutes, and then suddenly I just got all these subs, so I'm just going to yell at you guys in the future.
A lot of people want to get fluent in a language fast, and it...
Okay. Dude, he's stepped up the notch. Look, he's wearing a suit. We've got the zoom in and everything happened within about 5 seconds. Future YouTuber right here.
It is possible. It just depends on what you mean by fluent and what you mean by fast.
Okay, that's fine. What is fluent? I've run polls about this on my channel, and these polls have been responded to by like tens of thousands of people. Most people consider fluent to be at least a B2 level, okay? And then fast, for me learning a language fast,
Tá, tudo depende do que é o fluente e do que é o rápido.
it's like a year, 2 years. Like if we're being realistic.
What's going on, guys? My name's Nick Self.
Rápido pro EVD é 1 ano ou 2 anos, para ser mais realista.
Fundador de Langualytics y hablo español con fluidez. So let's...
He also speaks with sexiness.
E você fala bem sexy.
start by defining what we mean by fluency. Because if what we mean by fluency is knowing some vocab words, knowing some grammar rules, and the
Fucking music, brah. Why we got music happening? Yeah. Hate music.
ability to translate back and forth between two languages, that kind of fluency is pretty easy to obtain, it's pretty trivial. But to a lot of people, this is what they mean when they say...
Já é difícil eu entender o inglês. Aí o cara vai lá e coloca 1.25 no vídeo. Mas enfim, não foi eu, tá? Foi ele aqui, ó. Esse cara aqui dizendo.
Fluency. I know dozens of people who have told me in my life that they speak 2, 3, 4, 5 languages because they know some vocab words and they can explain some grammar rules.
No, I love the one where someone's like, yeah, I know 7 languages, and you're like, for real? And they're like, yeah, look at my Duolingo. I got like all these points of this.
Ele tá falando que tem gente, é muito engraçado uma pessoa falar assim, eu falo muitas línguas, aí a outra pessoa duvida, aí ele mostra o Duolingo aqui, ó, olha o tanto de línguas, de idiomas que eu falo aqui, ó, aqui.
I call this for show fluency, and I think most people can probably get there in probably a month if you really study. But if that's not what you mean by fluency, if you want to get a job in another country, if you want to talk to your girlfriend or boyfriend...
Se você quer pegar conseguir um emprego em outro país, se você quiser conversar com uma garota...
They don't speak your language, or their family...
Que não fala sua língua,
doesn't speak your language and you want...
I can't help it. I got a bit of a scatterbrain. Okay, before he sat down, he chose to put on that suit. Do you think he walked up to the cupboard and he's got like a bunch of suits hanging up and he's like...
Agora ele tá usando um cara que tá usando terno no vídeo. Ele falou before and sei lá, antes de sentar para gravar o vídeo, ele escolheu o terno.
This is today's video suit. Like, bro,
Esse é o terno do vídeo de hoje.
I was so formally dressed.
want to talk to your in-laws, then that type of fluency, the for-show fluency, really won't work for you. Because real fluency isn't just the ability to translate between two languages in your head. It's the ability to hear a sentence in another language and immediately recognize the meaning without a second of conscious thought, without a second of processing in your head. And if that's the kind of fluency you want, the kind of fluency that allows you to understand and speak your target language just like you do your native language, there's only...
Okay, well then, if it's like your native language, you're looking at C1+. Like, it'll never be like your native language unless you stop speaking your native language for like a decade and slowly let it degrade, and then you get really good at another language, you move to that country or whatnot, and you just live in that language, and then eventually there'll be certain aspects of that language where you attain a level of fluency that you may have never attained in your native language. It's interesting. Like, my mum is technically native German, okay? She can barely speak any German anymore.
Really, one way
A parte que eu mais entendi foi falar que a mãe dele é fluente em alemão.
to get there. You have to take in massive amounts of input in the language you're trying to learn at a level you understand. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of exposing yourself to comprehensible input. So now that we've defined
I would have went hundreds and thousands of hours. But this is just me being like a little bit picky here, because hundreds and hundreds, someone will be thinking, maybe 400 hours, so should be good then. Not really.
fluency, I assume the reason you're still here is because yes, that is the kind of fluency you're looking for. Real, actual fluency. Now let's answer, can you get that kind of fluency fast? The answer is still yes, but now it depends on what you mean by fast. Personally,
Are we redefining the meaning of fast?
Tudo depende do que você considera rápido.
I feel like I got fluent very, very fast, even though I wasn't fully comfortable with Spanish until about 8 months. But going from understanding basically nothing to being able to understand patient native speakers really does feel
Tá, eu acho que ele falou que ele aprendeu espanhol em 8 meses, é isso?
like a huge jump. And
Is this a patient native speakers according to the Dreaming Spanish roadmap? Because I think... I'll show you what I mean. Level 4, okay, level 4 is you can understand a person speaking to you patiently. Okay. Yeah, if they're creating CI content and it's for Dreaming Spanish, and that's 300 hours of input, okay, yeah, that's okay, I guess. But like, I'm at, what is it, 860 hours, and you know, Gustavo, who appears in the Dreaming Spanish series, he just starts speaking in his Argentinian, he's like, and I'm like, the fuck language is that? Like, it's just, it really depends what you mean.
Mas ele tá usando o sotaque mais, eu acho, né? Eu considero o sotaque espanhol argentino o mais difícil de entender. Quando eu ouço espanhol próprio da Espanha ou do México, alguma coisa assim, eu acho mais fácil de entender. Mas o argentino é muito, muito rápido falando. Quando eu vejo entrevista do Messi falando em espanhol mesmo, nossa, é difícil demais de entender. Aí não é culpa sua, eu vi o dia.
is a huge jump. And when I say I got fluent fast, I don't mean I found some super secret optimized system that let me leapfrog over hundreds and hundreds of hours of immersion. I mean that I did hundreds and hundreds of hours of immersion very, very quickly. For about the first 3 months, I was listening to 3 to 4 hours of comprehensible input every day, as well as trying to communicate with my girlfriend, who again...
Tá, ele teve 3 a 4 horas de comprehensible input todos os dias por alguns meses para comunicar com a namorada dele.
Spoke no English. The key to understanding here is that there's a biological reality to how...
Okay, so he's done 3 to 4 hours per day, every day, and then speaks with his girlfriend who knows no English. Okay, so there's a lot of interaction going on here. Okay, 3 to 4... Okay. I was going to calculate this, but we'll just let him continue.
Fast we can learn languages. To reach the level where your brain understands and produces a second language automatically, without thinking about grammar, without thinking about vocab, basically requires us to create a completely new partition in our brain responsible for directly mapping sounds from your target language to meaning in your head. You're rewiring your brain, you're building a whole new pattern recognition system, and of course, that type of rewiring is going to take real time. It's not something you can skip with some clever trick or some secret method. At the end of the day, you simply need to build that pattern recognition system. And this isn't just...
So far I'm vibing with all of this, although we haven't really got many details about his own journey. I don't like when YouTubers talk in generalities like this, where it's just kind of like, you know, you just got to do this and that. I actually prefer... almost story-based about how they did it, what specifically they did, because I feel like we can learn a lot more from someone's actual, not like, okay, this is what a lot of YouTubers do. They do a whole heap of stuff, then they make a video, and they make it very high level. No, go into the details. Like that 3 to 4 hours a day. Okay, that is detail. I can work with that. I can vibe with that, you know? And then...
Tá, então ele tá falando que... O Evil Dia tá falando que o cara falou que, tipo assim, estudou 3 a 4 horas por dia durante não sei quantos meses, não sei o quê. Só que ele quer o detalhe. Tipo assim, estudar 3 a 4 horas por dia é muito abrangente. Qual que é o detalhe? O que você fez? É isso que ele quer saber.
You also got a girlfriend. Okay, so what kind of practice did you guys do? Was it like just you randomly
Que tipo de prática vocês faziam?
throwing out some things, or was it like, did you sit down and practice certain structures with her? Did she like error correct you? Like that's what I want. That's what I love.
Just a nice to have. This is the only way you'll be able to understand authentic native speech spoken in real time. I used to think that people who were fluent were just really fast translators, but that's not the case. That's a myth. People who are fluent have cut out their native language entirely. No man in the middle. When you see people online claiming that you can get fluent in a language in
Here's the thing. Though, like, when you get fluent in a language, like for example, I'm fluent in Esperanto. Okay, I can translate if I want, or I cannot. But I think what he's trying to state here is that you don't think in your native language about your target language. You just think in the target language, which is true.
1 month by buying their course. It's the same genre of video as when you see in the fitness community people posting about, a 5-minute ab routine every day that's going to get you a six-pack in a month. Those videos are meant for people who want the result but aren't willing to put in the effort. Can you get a six-pack fast? Yes. In the same way you can get fluent fast. By having realistic expectations and actually putting in the required work every day. There's a biological reality to fat loss in the same way there's a biological reality to language learning. Your body can only lose so much fat sustainably every day. Your max might be 1 pound a week or 2 pounds a week, but if you can maintain
this actually leads into a question, okay, around CI and comprehensible input. Is there a limit each day where your brain, I'm assuming there is some type of limit where your brain, it will watch a ton of content, it will pick up words and context, but there's only so much it's going to pick up. Like, is 4 hours of daily content going to get you the same type of results as 8 hours of daily content? Like, I know there's probably no answer to this question, but those types of questions, just the questions themselves, are what interest me. And I've seen this in my own videos where people will be like, hey, Evil Deer, so you're doing like 3 hours a day of Spanish, okay? Is that too much? Like, you might be doing too much. You might be actually just wasting time and you should be drawing it out over a longer period. And like, I know people in the automatic language growth community that most of them will say the more hours per day, the better, because it's the more you're flooding your brain, okay? But I don't know if there's any like science around it, like anything that says, yes, that's true. The more you do per day, the better it is. My assumption is that it will be better, but it's not necessary.
Tá, ele acha que mais horas por dia é melhor, tipo 3, 4 horas por dia é melhor, só que ele não vê nenhum artigo científico falando que mais horas por dia é melhor.
You're going to acquire.
Geralmente fala que constância, né? Tipo assim, não importa se você vai fazer 2 horas por dia, o importante é a constância. Mas se você tiver constância com mais horas por dia, talvez seja melhor, não sei.
More, it's probably you're going to lock in more of what you already have kind of acquired. Like, you understand the question I'm getting at here. Like, is there a known limit in some way? I don't think there is.
Calorie deficit for a long enough amount of time, eventually you'll lose the weight and you'll have a six-pack.
And see, this also leads into the fitness. Like, I know in fitness, a lot of fitness YouTubers, I don't know if this is true, but they've been saying as of recently that the body will only burn so many calories per day. Like, no matter how much effort you put in, there's a limit, okay? I think they were saying like 1,000 calories per day is like, it doesn't matter how much exercise you do, you're only going to burn that many calories. And then after that point, you're literally just going to be causing physical health issues. Like, I'm not a fitness guy, so don't take my word on that. But like, I'd like to know the answer for that in languages.
Most semi-in-shape people can probably get that done in about 6 months. And in my opinion, that's fast. So let me restate the original question I asked at the beginning of this video. Can you get fluent fast? Yes, but only if by fast you mean as fast as your brain can rewire.
Okay, so this is just clickbait in the sense of someone who wants to get fast and then he tells them no, they're not going to get fast. So at least he's honest here. But the word fast is just not appropriate. Like, okay, like learning a language in a year to a high level is fast, okay? But that's not what most people think fast is. Good video overall. I just want more details.
Itself.
Tá, é porque ele falou que o vídeo do cara é meio que um clickbait, né, o título, mas normal, que rápido, 1 ano seria rápido, né? Só que não é o que as pessoas tendem a pensar que um ano é lento e o rápido das pessoas é 3 meses, porque elas não podem esperar, não. Eu tô quase fazendo 3 meses, daqui 9 dias será 3 meses, e eu não tô nem perto da fluência. Mas enfim, é o que a pessoa diz, né?
To understand a completely new set of sounds. If you're willing to put in time consistently
3 meses desse ano, tá? Porque eu comecei o canal em novembro ou em dezembro do ano passado. Acho que foi em dezembro. Mas não lembro.
and you truly love the language, you can move through those hours of exposure much faster than people think. And if you're ready to
Quanto mais horas você exposto, mais você vai entender.
put in those hours and jump headfirst into Spanish, French, German, Mandarin, Japanese, Russian, or any of those languages that you want to learn, I suggest you check out my website, Langualytics, where I host a user-sourced library of comprehensible input content and give you a nice interface to also track your time. The link
Okay. I'm always very, very cautious when it comes to... Okay, he just rattled off a whole heap of languages, okay? I'm assuming he hasn't learnt all those languages. And I never want to make the assumption, although it's probably true, that what works in one language will work well in another. And the reason I don't want to make that assumption, okay, especially when you bring sign languages into the equation, but let's leave sign languages out, okay? Like, I've found certain things that work well for Spanish don't seem to work so well for Chinese. So, for example...
Tá, ele tá falando que as mesmas coisas que funcionam com o espanhol não são as mesmas que funcionam com o chinês. E eu acho verdadeiro isso. Porque quando eu for começar a estudar o espanhol, eu acho que o Comprehensible Input no espanhol vai ser muito bom. Por quê? O português, ele tem muita similaridade com o espanhol, bastante coisa que um compartilha com o outro. Se eu pego um vídeo em espanhol, igual eu vejo do campeonato espanhol falando assim, eu entendo muita parte, mas lógico que tem coisa com contexto diferente. Mas é isso. Mas se eu for aprender japonês, aí não seria Comprehensible Input desde o começo, eu acho, tá? Seria muito mais difícil, mais demorado, mas é isso aí. Porque não tem nenhuma similaridade com o português.
Spanish, doing a lot of CI, it seems to work quite well in a lot of ways because you eventually adjust to understanding the sound differences between Spanish and English because a lot of words in Spanish are just slightly different compared to their English or their Esperanto, okay? And once you adapt to that sound difference, boom, you open up so many new words, okay? So smashing a whole heap of hours per day actually helps you get a lot of words in. But doing that for Chinese, you don't have that at all, okay? Because there's no shared history between the languages there. And I've found that if I do a lot of CI in Chinese...
E o chinês, ele é um idioma que ele tem uns tons, né? Tá falando assim, tipo assim, tipo assim, tem é tipo a nossa sílaba tônica, só que eles fazem bem mais suave, alguma coisa assim. Eu não posso estar falando bosta.
I don't seem to get that much benefit out of it. Like, I literally have to study new words, and then the CI just helps me reinforce those words that I've been studying. So I'm very cautious about saying, this will work for everything.
link is always in the description. Also, please like this video and wait with me here now until the screen turns black and you hear a boom sound.
No, I will not do that. Okay, so overall, this is his channel. Looks like he's a new guy trying to pop off on the scene. Recommendations aren't anything crazy, and at least he's realistic about the fact it's going to take you a long time. He's obviously trying to hawk his product, but, again, he didn't say anything too crazy. So, I guess my only real question out of this, and this one's just more for the community and those who have done CI, like just kind of like pure input, where have you found the limits for yourselves? Okay, for me, I found 3 hours a day, I seem to get quite a good. If I go to 4 hours, I don't think 4 hours really gives me anything more than 3 hours. But it's hard to say. Like, just my subjective experience with the matter. But then also, if I do less than an hour per day, I don't feel like I'm getting much out of it. So it's like, I feel like I have to go for that 2 to 3 hour range. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure you sub to the channel. I'll see you all in the next video.
Tá, ele falou que 3 horas por dia é melhor que 4 pra ele. Aí depende muito da pessoa, sei lá. É isso aí, fé, 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 fé.